What's going on YouTube? It's Kaizen. Y'all know me from Twitter and Discord as Captain Curry. I'm coming to you with my first video talking about Zoro today. Like 3 things I'm going to talk about. 1, why his journey as a swordsman has not been underwhelming. And why he hasn't really needed to fight these top tier swordsmen in these high extreme diff fights like we all hoped he would, in order to see his progression as a character. And then also why his power level on the rooftop is justified thus far. A lot of people are saying, how the hell is he going to jump from Pika all the way to Kaido? I was one of those people at one point, and I thought like this till I been rereading and changed my perspective. So here's how I see it. So starting from the first point, Zoro hasn't really needed to fight these top tier swordsmen in these extreme high diff fights, is because there aren't many people in the One Piece world that are built like Zoro. Now, what do I mean by this? After his duel with Mihawk, the very first real fight he had after that, after he's learned his lesson and changed his perspective, is Hachi in Arlong Park. And at one point in the fight, Zoro shatters all of Hachi's swords. Hachi says, "I'm going to beat you with my 6-sword style. I have more arms and more swords than you. I'm more powerful than you." That was Zoro at one point in his life as a child when he trained. "I'm just going to add more swords on. I'm just going to add more weight on to the amount I lift." Right? That was Zoro until he fought Mihawk. And in that fight, what he learned from Mihawk is his ambition. The height of his ambition, not only for himself but for Kuina, who he's also doing this for, knows no bounds. It's not comparable to many people. The weight of his swords, like he says to Hachi, after he shatters his swords and slashes him. "Now do you understand the difference in the weight of our swords?" Zoro, there aren't many people in the world that's weight matches with Zoro's. That's why he one-shots most people. He medium, low diffs, whatever. A lot of people he meets is because they hold no candle to him in the first place. And also, swordsmanship is deadly in One Piece. It's not like brawling. So yeah, Zoro's only gonna get into extreme diff fights with people that have a reason to live, a reason to push on, a reason to be on, a will that can somewhat match his. That's the only time he's going to get into those kind of fights, like Mihawk, Kaku. We know Cypher Pole. They all have crazy backstories. So Kaku, he has some degree of strong willpower, and we know eventually he's going to fight Shiryu. Shiryu said he's been waiting for a man like Blackbeard for a reason. Shiryu was built different. Don't get it twisted. Don't sleep on Shiryu. So Zoro, that's the only time he's gonna, like I'm saying, what I'm saying is that's the only time we're gonna see him get into these crazy fights that we want, is when he meets other opponents that match the same will as he does, the same weight, that carry the same ambition as he does, right? So just like Takamura from Hajime no Ippo, he tells Ippo the difference between the true champions in the world and the mediocre, the regulars, is the weight of the champion's fist. The people back home, the fans, his country, his family, his loved ones, all the people that are lifting his spirits to keep him fighting. That's Zoro. That's literally Zoro in a character. Zoro is like Takamura. Anyway, trying to get back on track. On to the next topic. Now that ties in with this is we've seen Zoro's progression, right, without these extreme diff fights, because of the feats he's achieved throughout the story that directly call back to our first meeting with Mihawk. So we see Mihawk. He slices a galleon, an entire galleon, from a ranged distance. So we know swordsmen, they can slice ships, and they can use long-range attacks. And then eventually, we see the true skill of a swordsman, where he no-diff Zoro with his dagger, right? So those are the like the things that he shows us, and then what we see from him in Marineford, being able to slice that iceberg. Mind you, we've only seen top tier level feats from a swordsman from Mihawk and Odin. We've seen a little bit from Shanks and Rayleigh because they parried admirals, and we've seen stuff from Fuji and Law, but their devil fruits are heavily incorporated in their swordsmanship. So, like I said, the only thing we have to go off of from Zoro's progression with it is Mihawk and Odin, two people that Zoro has direct relation and correlation to. One he trained under for 2 years. But I'm gonna leave all that out because we don't really know a lot about the 2-year training. I'm not gonna bring in any SBSs, data books, anything. This is straight source material. So let me just lay out some of the feats we've seen from Zoro that directly correlate back to Mihawk. New World. This is, specifically with the New World, because that's what a lot of people's problems is we've seen a lot from Zoro pre-time skip, but no progression that justifies this strength he has in a time skip, besides him training with Mihawk, right? But I'm going to show you from this perspective. After he gets back from the New World, what does he do? The big moment, Zoro, he slices the ship, smooth in half, out the water, right? Eventually, he and also besides his feats, I'm sorry, I should have said this earlier, besides his feats directing back to Mihawk, it also goes back to his journey through the East Blue as a whole as well. But anyway, Zoro, after that, we seen him against Hyozo in Fishman Island. Hyozo was like Hachi 2.0. He had 8 sword style. He kept getting stronger because of these drugs. Zoro one-shotted him because the weight of Hyozo's swords weren't near as Zoro. That lesson is still implied in the New World. Then we get to Dressrosa, the big event in Dressrosa, where Zoro literally he slices Pika, right? He slices a mountain. So yes, he just slices a mountain. I get you. But that directly correlates back to Mihawk's amazing feat in Marineford, where he sliced the iceberg. Now, mind you, Mihawk did it with little effort, correct? But that's to show us that Zoro can cut this huge amount of mass, an entire town's worth of rubble. But he had to put everything into it. His full 3-sword style, bandana up, have Orlumbus chuck him. He put his all into it. But it's still showing us that he's gotten stronger. And we haven't seen him yet get into an extreme diff fight. Now, Dressrosa's over. We don't see Zoro for a while. He's traveling. He's obviously keeping up with his training every day. Then we see him in Wano. What does he do in Wano? He destroys samurai. He no-diff samurai with a dagger. Just like Mihawk, calling back. And to go even further than this, he sends an air slash out with the dagger and slices the building. Like I said, Oda is showing us Zoro getting closer and closer to his goal with the feats that he achieves, correlating right back to him, right? So, also, after that, as of recently, with Zoro cutting a horn in Onigashima and slicing up Kaido, right? This is justified because, one, of the Breath of All Things, because Zoro has been keeping up with the Breath of All Things. People say, oh, it's only been in Alabasta. That's wrong. I'll get to that in a second. And two, because that is Zoro's one goal, is to cut. In swordsmanship, that's what he's meant to do, is to cut his enemies. That's what it is. Why wouldn't he be able to cut Kaido? Especially with the feats and callbacks that we've seen Zoro get closer and closer and closer to his goal and looking more like the top tier swordsman. We've seen it. We've seen it time and time again. So Zoro, he cuts the horn in Onigashima. It's arguably just as big as Pika. Maybe a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit bigger, right? We really don't know the dimensions. But either way, he did this with one sword. He didn't really put as much effort as he did with the slash that he sliced Pika with in this slash. So he's pulled off an iceberg level feat, right? but without as much effort. And he's showing us he's getting closer and closer. And this is without all his crazy speed, reaction feats, him cutting the giant club, him cutting Queen's gun. None of that. He's been balling this entire arc, right? This entire war, he's been balling. All hits, no misses from Zoro. He's been wailing. MVP right now. Zoro, he doesn't really need to prove anything more to us. He's in the extreme diff fight right now against 2 Yonko. This is it. Why wouldn't he be able to cut the Yonko? You see what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know what else more we need. Like yes, we would have liked to have seen Zoro fight against other top tier swordsmen, but there's not many in the world. That's what Oda's trying to tell us. There's not many of them. Zoro is just built different. I don't want to put it as plainly as that, but that's just what it is, right? And I just think that we need to give what he's shown us more credit, and we need to put more insight into his not even just Zoro's, everyone's progression in minor detail. We don't just need combat feats. Look at the minor details, read between the lines. Zoro, everything is justified for Zoro. And then on top of Enma, now he has Enma, and I'm not even gonna, talk about this because this is another whole topic in itself. Power up. Is it a power up? Is it not a power up? What does it do? How does it buff him, debuff him? I'm not gonna get into that. But one thing is for sure is that this fight, right? This fight, the rest of this war, is going to solidify Zoro as a top tier swordsman in the world. Like, there's only two people he can challenge besides Mihawk at this point in the story. He's going to be most likely Admiral level by the time that the arc is done. I don't want to get into power scaling, but I'm telling you, Zoro and Luffy, like Luffy's, like, it's there. It's there. I'm not going to get into, was Zoro stronger than Luffy straight out the gate? Nah, we're not going to do that. But I am certain that Zoro, he will get his fight with with other swordsmen. I know. I'm sorry I'm getting lost and a little off track, but I'm trying to do the best I can. But we'll see more fights from him, with Shiryu and Mihawk, if he does fight Mihawk. We will see this. We will see these feats. Zoro's not going to leave us starving forever. He's not going to do it, But in the meantime, we need to pay attention to the small things that Zoro does, That's all I'm saying, right? And then another thing I want to talk about real quick is, besides Mihawk, Zoro's relation to Odin, the callbacks from Odin. One of them being, the main one I can think of is, remember when Zoro cut Monet, and he didn't really cut her, kill her? Odin did the same thing to the mountain god, the boar. Did the same exact thing. I could be wrong, but it's just something else I'm throwing out there, is that Oda is showing us the progression of Zoro without the combat. Will we like it? Yes. But it's there. That's all I'm saying. So that's it, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see more future content. Sorry if I was a little all over the place today. I'm doing the best I can. I just freelanced it. I'll be uploading soon, probably in a couple days, with another video, possibly on Kid. My thoughts on Kid. But yeah, all of you be safe and have a great day.